rainy, chilly Providence. I know every week I start out with the weather and I just can't help it. Until I'm back at my pool and coming straight from the pool to here, you're going to have to put up with me complaining about the weather. I'm Rick Simone. Thank you for joining me on The Taste. It is Wednesday. We've got a great lineup, and as promised last week, we're still covering a little bit of Valentine's Day. The guests that I got today are going to help me with both not just an idea of where to dine, but also some gift ideas on what you can do for Valentine's Day. And just as an FYI, today is the 7th. You only have 1 week, which means next week when I'm live, I'll be saying Happy Valentine's Day, but I won't be talking about what you can do for it anymore because it'll be too late at that point. The guest I got joining me today is Chef Joe Simone from a wonderful restaurant called Simone's in Warren. He's got a fantastic last name. I wish I could say he was related because of his culinary talents, but he's not. But I might start calling him my cousin or something after this. We'll see how it all goes. I also have David coming in. David is the chocolate maker, candy maker from the Chocolate Delicacy out in Warwick. Very excited to have him. He's got amazing products. You know how I love to highlight locally shops that you can buy locally from to have there, and he's got some amazing stuff. Beyond Valentine's Day, he's got great gift ideas for things, holidays all year round. So David will be joining me. And then my last guest is a special guest that is visiting Rhode Island today, highlighting her wines. Sophia Thanisch is from the Thanisch Winery in Germany, and the wines there are unbelievable. They've been around for 375 years. So we're going to talk about that history with her. I believe it's 11 generations that her family's been at Thanisch. And it's been 4 generations, if I'm not mistaken, that have been run by women. So it's a really exciting thing to talk about with her. I'm looking forward to tasting her wines, and it's the first time they're available now in Rhode Island. So it's going to be a great time to have her in, and she'll be my final guest to close out the segment. So some ideas on some wines you can purchase. You got ideas for gifts with chocolate. You're going to have ideas with gifts with Chef Joe. Not just dining, but he's got some great things that he's doing there that can make some good gifts as well for Valentine's Day. So to get things rolling, I would like to welcome in Chef Joe, and we'll get started. Chef,
hi Rick.
How are you, sir?
It's nice to meet you.
Thanks for being here. I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you.
He's got the best last name. It's like I said, by the end of this, we might be calling each other family.
I think we're second cousins anyway.
It's something like that.
It's Rhode Island, right?
It's got to be, you know? So, Chef, you have this gem. And one of the things that was just described to me on social media is that somebody said that they thought it was a perfect thing to bring you in for Valentine's Day because they feel you're romantic. Your restaurant has all this romantic, ambiance to it. So before we get to this amazing food, which I have to tell you, the aromas are already driving me crazy, is describe Simone's as the restaurant, and then I want to get into, after that, we'll get into a little of your background, because you got a fascinating background.
Thanks. Simone's is, first of all, we serve brunch on the weekends, dinner during the week, and when we were designing the restaurant, all I wanted was a barn with a marble counter.
A barn with a marble counter?
And we bought this building on Child Street, did a huge renovation, and what we came up with is very high ceilings, everything is painted dark gray, the light is low, there's a huge white marble counter that one end is the kitchen, and then it makes a right-hand turn or a left-hand turn and becomes our bar. For those of you who know me in my old restaurant, the Sunny Side on Water Street in Warren, I'm very interested in sort of knocking down that barrier between the guest and the cook, and we're trying to be extremely honest with what we serve and how we serve it. And we have 4 seats right at the counter in front of the Fordo where we cook fish and whatnot. So
bird's eye view.
Yeah, and it's a great sort of casual, but you could get dressed up if you want. We like to call ourselves a modern restaurant outside of the city.
How many does the restaurant seat? How many guests?
We have 2 dining rooms. The main dining room seats about 50, and then we have a private dining room separated by yellow barn doors that is called our wine room, and that room will seat up to 35 or 40 for a private party.
So you're getting a good amount of people in there on
a
regular basis. Sure.
Yeah, we could.
And you said the private room gets in about 30, 35 people?
Yeah.
So that's a nice thing to highlight there, because it's, while we're talking about Valentine's Day, we want to highlight everything that the chef's got going on. But private events, everybody's always asking me, can you book different places?
Showers, rehearsal dinners.
35 people is a good number to be able to do. So when people come in, you said it's very open, very airy. People were telling me that there's like romantic niches throughout the restaurant for them to be able to sit in and enjoy. And as you mentioned, it's like an open air kitchen, but beyond that.
Yeah, it's beyond an open air kitchen because everything is very immediate in the dining room, and we don't have any filters as far as when we talk to each other on behind the line.
Right.
A lot of times, if there's not too many guests in there, they can hear exactly what we're saying. We do a lot of sort of catcalling across to favorite guests of ours, and we can see the front door, and so, we're always waving. And
So you've got this on your website, and it goes to what you're talking about here. On Simone's website, when you go to look at it, there's this great video of
Yep.
you and the team interacting and
Yep.
moving and going around, and the guests like almost cheering you on as everything's going on.
we really are blessed with guests that buy into what we're doing, and our staff is really committed to what our principles and philosophies are, and I'm really proud of everything that we're doing.
So talking about your principles and philosophies, let's talk a little bit about your background. You have a really varied, beautiful
Yeah.
background. So let's talk about this. 'Cause
So I went to Brown, got a degree in Brown in math and economics, and I thought that I was going to go work on Wall Street or become a lawyer or whatever, and I graduated many years ago, middle of the 80s. I became disillusioned with companies, and I decided that I wanted to work in a restaurant, and so I started just to make money while I figured out what the heck I wanted to do, and I got bitten by the bug. I moved to Nantucket in 1986 and worked at the Wawinit Inn for several years there, and then I came back, moved to Boston, worked for Paparazzi, opening up 8 of the Paparazzi restaurants up and
Nice.
down the East Coast.
Nice.
And that turned into a job at a restaurant called Tosca in Hingham, which is part of the Eat Well group, and Ed Kane was a wonderful mentor and boss. And from there, I actually got a part in a TV show on PBS in 1999, and called The Chefs of Cucina Amore, and that sort of changed my life. I quit my job, moved to Nantucket for a 6-week vacation to go back, to a place where I really always felt comfortable, and it was a great place to be. And I ended up cooking 3 dinners for this family, and that turned into a 10-year private chef job. In
Wow.
fact, they're still in my life. I just got back on Sunday from Switzerland, spending time with them at their house
That's
in Switzerland.
fantastic.
Yeah, it was really awesome. They're just the best people. But anyway, so, and while I was at Paparazzi and then at Tosca, I started traveling with the International Olive Oil Association through an organization called Old Ways Preservation and Exchange Trust. And I can't say enough of how much being part of that group changed my life, because I was traveling with famous chefs,
Right.
food writers, through most of the Mediterranean, Italy, Spain, Greece, Turkey, learning real traditional dishes from basically old ladies who speak no English.
Right. So you were immersed in the culture.
Totally. That's what my passion is serving up traditional food and trying to recreate authentic flavors.
So and that's why I wanted to have him highlight this past, is that he's got a well-rounded diversity of groups of places that you've been to.
Yeah.
I mean, from Italy to Greece to Turkey, you just mentioned, and now you were just over in Switzerland. So I
yeah.
mean, you get yourself immersed in these things when you go on something like this. So obviously, your original trips influenced to where you are now. But
Yeah.
when you go to like someplace like Switzerland and you come back to the restaurant, are you bringing some of that back with you, and some of those things evolving into your menus?
The beauty of cooking and working with food is just like anything, is learning new things and being exposed to new products. And you bet.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great too, because that's fascinating to me.
There's this vinegar that they sell in Switzerland. Krauter means herbs.
Okay.
And it's Krauter vinegar, and it's white wine vinegar that's immersed with Swiss herbs, or that's marinated with Swiss herbs, that has been now the basis for our salad dressing for the last year. And I don't think I could change it because people really
People
love it.
It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. So speaking of what people really love, and talking about getting into Valentine's Day, let's talk about your menu and this beautiful bottle of wine that
Sure.
you brought here that looks
Yeah.
like it might be Italian.
It's Italian.
Yeah, look at
Yeah,
that.
I identify really closely with Italian food. Gavi de
Yeah,
gavi,
me too. How about
traditional
that?
grape, right?
Yep.
Goes with pretty much anything. It's not going to set you back millions of dollars.
No.
And it's a nice.
All right, well, I'll pour this while you talk
Please.
about your food, because
Yeah.
we're going to talk about what you brought here today.
So,
Let's go start
baked
with it.
oysters with spinach and Pernod, Walrus and Carpenter oysters, Niagara Pond in South County. Fantastic product. We take spinach and we basically cook the spinach with shallots, a little bit of cream, and add some Pernod. Put it on top of raw oysters, Parmesan cheese, bacon in the oven. These very popular dish.
I can see why.
Yeah. grilled
That's a
lobster.
great Valentine's Day thing. So that's gonna be available for
Definitely.
Valentine's Day.
This is definitely on our Valentine's menu.
Okay.
Lobster is always on our menu. What it is rubbed with olive oil and herbs, cooked on the wood burning grill.
Joe, you got to get a look at this
Yeah.
lobster. Look at
That's a 1.5 pound lobster.
that's a pound and a half.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
And what's it back in here?
yeah, that's a little a warm salad of quinoa with wilted escarole and roasted peppers and some mushrooms. So
Beautiful Valentine's
Pretty
Day
good.
color. Well,
Yes.
Lobsters go good for that.
people like lobster on Valentine's Day.
People like lobster all the time.
And then, arguably
Yeah.
our favorite dessert. This is my grandmother's recipe, and can't help but think of my grandmother on Valentine's Day, right?
That's nice.
Butterscotch pudding with whipped cream.
That's butterscotch pudding?
Yeah.
Okay, that won't be here by the time you leave. That will be gone.
Actually, there's a
I-
couple of ladies behind the
Oh my
skirt
God.
that are going to arm wrestle you for it.
I'll do it because I got to win something once in a while. I love butterscotch. Cheers,
Cheers.
chef. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
I absolutely love gabi. I have to
So
tell
do
you,
I.
one of my favorite Italian varietals. It's absolutely beautiful. Now this is Bastina, huh?
La Battestina.
That's beautiful. So
Thank
I
you.
got to tell you, this would go phenomenal with either of the things that you brought in.
That's what I thought.
So these two things in highlighting, perfect for Valentine's Day. Obviously shows off the seafood style he has. So talk to us about some of the other things because you got a brunch menu. So I want to hear about that.
So yeah, when we had the Sunny Side, which was a daytime only restaurant, we have received best brunch in Rhode Island for I don't know several years going.
So that
And
influenced
brunch.
you.
Yeah, but the thing is that my sensibilities as a cook are really more Mediterranean and Italian. So what am I doing? Cooking crab cakes and eggs Benedict and stuff like that. Why not, right? I learned how to make hollandaise sauce in 1986 at the Wall-Weighted Inn, and we make a pretty damn good one, if I do say so myself. So we have poached eggs. Eggs Benedict we serve with shaved prosciutto instead of ham. Because
Nice.
we're an Italian restaurant, we don't have ham in the restaurant.
Yeah.
We make crab cakes with poached eggs. We have something called a Dutch baby. Have you had a Dutch baby?
No.
Rick? Think of a popover that's baked in a wider vessel, and so it rises like a popover.
Okay.
But then it's so wide that there's not enough structure on the sides to support it. So the popover then falls down in the middle, making like a bowl of popover that we then fill with either fruit or stuff like leeks and smoked salmon.
Oh my God.
Yeah, really, really good.
Smoked salmon and fruit. I'd be both of those. I'd be in my glory.
Yeah, they're really good.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Now brunch is Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday from 8 to 2. We may change the hours a little bit, but that's what we're looking at.
But that's awesome. You don't find a lot of places that can do brunch 2 days a week.
No, we do it. We do it. We're committed to that. So we have the best brunch around, I think. And it's busy, and it's boisterous, and it's kind of crazy, and it's a lot of fun.
It's all my kind of places.
Yeah.
So, Chef, you've got this beautiful restaurant in Warren, in an area that's up and coming, and Josh Fenton, the CEO of Golocal, was mentioning that to you when you came in today, that
Yep.
Warren has been this kind of new hotspot that's coming out there, and you've been there now twice. You had
Yep.
your other restaurant that you had, now this one. But you've also done different things, having brunch 2 days a week, offering the style of food that you're offering, which is not 100% Italian, you're this Mediterranean influence.
And it's a little bit off the way that what most people think of Italian food.
Right.
Yep.
So, but you've also done other things, and I want to kind of talk about this for Valentine's. So, this menu, these great dishes that you're offering, people, this year Valentine's Day falls in the middle of the week. So, people
Yep.
are starting to go out this weekend to the weekend after.
Yep.
So, your Valentine's Day items, will they be available during those times?
What we're doing is we're going to do a Prix menu in addition to our regular dinner menu.
Okay.
Okay, that people can choose. And all of those items will be available on a Prix basis because I realize that some people don't want to have 4 courses or.
Right.
But so what we're going to do, and we're going to start that on Friday and run it all next week in honor of Valentine's Day.
So, Friday to Friday or Friday to Wednesday?
Probably Friday to Friday or Saturday.
That's awesome. That's
You know,
perfect. So you
we'll
come-
see how the feedback is. We're a small restaurant, and so it's very easy to see what our guests respond well to,
Right.
and
So, talking about what your guests respond well to, and I want to kind of end this as another Valentine's Day idea.
yeah.
Is I got so much feedback on these amazing cooking classes that you do.
Thank you.
It's like you're talking about you being on PBS and being a star, so this is easy for him. So talk about being on that, but everybody says that it's really an experience to come to these cooking classes that you do.
Thank you. And thanks to all of my awesome students who wrote into you. We have a really good thing going. I'm extremely passionate about what I do, and cooking classes have been a way to they check a couple of different boxes. First of all, the guests that come to our cooking classes get to experience our restaurant on a completely different level.
So,
We don't.
so explain that. How, when they come in, so first of all, how often are the classes offered?
Once or twice a month through the fall and winter. Right now, our last class is in the middle of March, and I'm going to add 3, maybe 4 classes from April, beginning of May, maybe even early June. And so, the classes are held on Monday nights when the restaurant is closed.
Okay.
The dining room is unset. In fact, the chairs are on top of the tables. It's like we're closed.
Yeah, so it's
We are
weird, like coming to a class.
Yeah.
It's, yeah.
We set the counter for 20 to 25 people. If we have more than 20, then we seat 4 or 5 people in the kitchen.
Awesome.
Guests come and they get copies of all the recipes. There's a topic for each class.
Okay.
I make all the recipes, and they taste everything, and they also get wine. So
My kind of class.
it's kind of like dinner theater.
I'm okay
or
with this.
Like the ultimate dog and pony show, if that makes sense. But it's really important to me that my guests or my students for the cooking classes leave wanting to cook more food from scratch for their family and their friends, and I do everything in my power to make it easy. Like, you could make this dish 3 days in advance. You could find this product at this store.
So yeah, you go through the ingredients, you go through the whole 9 yards. Do you talk about how you're pairing up the wines? Because like, just an example,
Yes.
I got to highlight that that's an amazing wine to go with.
Agave goes
So-
with everything, and
Yeah.
especially seafood. Yes, we talk about the
Okay.
wine. I give tips on to where that people can buy the wine.
And everybody knows I like wine just a little bit, so this is an important thing to hear about here.
Yeah.
So what was the last topic you did? What was the last one you did?
We did a pasta boot camp.
Pasta boot camp?
Yeah,
Oh my
that
God, I would've
was 2
loved
weeks
that
ago.
one.
Yeah, and that was all dried pasta. And, the mother, quote unquote, Italian sauces, pesto, carbonara,
Yep.
amatriciana. We did aglio olio, and then a recipe for my basic tomato sauce, which takes 15 minutes. You could come home from work, and in the time it takes to make the water boil to cook the pasta, you can make a beautiful fresh tomato sauce. So you never need to buy a can of sauce with all kinds
So
of
you-
mysterious ingredients in it, ever.
So you made all those sauces that night.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, so anybody that's listening, this doesn't need to be a Valentine's Day gift. My birthday's coming up. I'm happy for this. Contact Chef Joe. Find out
Yeah.
the schedule. Know what he's doing. Buy these in advance because it sounds like 20, 25 people. That's a lot of people to have in there. So you're gonna fill up
And
quick.
they sell up really,
Yeah.
they sell out. I'm humbled with how quickly the classes sell. But I am going to get 3 new classes at least in the roster. So check out our website.
Perfect.
You can sign up for our email alerts or check out our Facebook page, because that's how I do the announcing.
That's awesome. Well, I will be eating the butterscotch pudding and drinking more of this Gavi after I'm done with all my guests today. But Chef, this was fantastic, man. Thank you for taking the time. I really appreciate
thank you
it.
for having me.
Reach out to him now. It sounds like he's celebrating Valentine's Day for almost a solid week. You have a great opportunity to look at the Prix menu, not only this, and then talk about possible gift ideas. So, Chef,
Yeah.
thank you so much for making the time.
Rick, thank
It
you
was
for having me.
excellent you.
Thank
This
you.
aroma's driving me amazing.
Well, enjoy all that.
Thank
Happy
you.
Valentine's Day
Thank
to
you.
everybody.
Same to you, Chef.
Thank you.
Taylor's going to help you right behind you
Here.
there.
Take that. Thank you very much.
Don't let everybody drink